Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this stream of Hearts of Iron 4, and it is finally here. This is the China update that we have all been waiting for so long. This is it. And I have a few ideas about what I want to do, so let's do a new game. And already we can see that the bottom list of countries here have been changed away from, I think it was the Nordics before. So the other suggested nations are Qing, led by Puyi, Qing, and Fentieng are like the two big dogs. They'd be basically the Germany and the France of China. These are the two that are really fighting for dominance over it. So Fentieng are these guys, led by Zhang Zhulin. Then we also have my absolutely beloved League of Eight Provinces, a nation that we probably better know as the Allgemeine Ostasiatische Gesellschaft, although these definitely have a rather more Chinese focus, but they are still the ones who are most open for business and have a real relation to Germany. We've got the Yunnan clique, led by Tang Jiao, and I don't know very much about them, I must admit. We have the Ma clique, led by Ma Fujiang. Ma clique, of course, being the ones who almost always got into a war against Tibet and Mongolia, and I don't know if that's still true, it might be. Then we have got the Shandong clique, led by Zhang Zhongshan, known as the Dog Meat General, apparently. Then we've got the Shaanxi clique. Shaanxi actually do a couple of really interesting things, so that's another nation which is high up on my list to try out. And then we've got the Sichuan clique, led by Yang Sen. But the one that we are going to be focusing on today is the League of Eight Provinces. Sun Chuanfeng's league forms the southern half of the Axis, which has dominated China for nearly a decade. Years of peace have proven fertile ground for ambition, and with it, jealousy. Although Nanjing and Beijing remain united against external foes, they have become competitors as much as allies. Some say the costs of this contest have already begun to take their toll. Like much of China, the League is the product of a careful balance. And Sun's great bureaucratic pyramid may have already begun to crack and crumble. Who was that? Blue Ocean gifting subs to Gatemaster. Thank you very much for that, Blue Ocean. Very much appreciate it. Always a real pleasure when people are gifting subs. Gatemaster, congratulations on the gifted sub, courtesy of Blue Ocean. Welcome to the Maudlings. And then Tinsel Tits, thanks very much for the 2-month Twitch Prime resubscription. Very much appreciate that as well. Welcome back. Alright, so what are the focuses that we start off with? Conspicuous kleptocracy. Late last decade, Sun Chuanfeng opened vast swathes of eastern and southern China to exclusive German economic exploitation. Soldiers and officials at almost every level, many already predisposed towards corruption, have been complicit in everything from arms smuggling to stolen antiquities trade. This reflects poorly on the League as a whole, but it is just good business. The Nanking Commission, Division Organization and Max Planning. The Nanking Commission, advising the League's leadership on behalf of Berlin, includes an officer corps intended to reorganize Chinese divisions along German lines. So far, they have seen some success in equipping and training the Marshal's personal divisions, as well as imparting the Weltkriegs lessons upon their officers. And then we've got the Tsingtao Collaborators Limited, or Collaboration Limited. The informal arrangements between the League and Germany, facilitated by the Allgemeine Ostasiatische Gesellschaft, do come at a cost, despite their benefits. German businesses have received special privileges in a number of coastal cities, transforming them into concessions in all but formal name and national law. Yeah, spoiler-free, please. So, here we go. League of Eight Provinces. And we have a couple of other things that we can do, but we'll talk about that when we are actually in the game. I think I'm going to leave everything just completely default. Not going to tweak anything. So right here, we can see how China now looks different. So we've got the Mark Clique over here, Sichuan, Yunnan, League of Eight Provinces, the large beasts down in the south, Qing, Shandong Clique, Shaanxi Clique, and then Fentieng up here in the north. as well as legation cities, which I think have actually grown a little bit. And then up here we have Tsingtao, which are territories controlled directly by Germany. Now let's see if the UI loads properly. Nope, of course not. I've loaded it once today, and it worked. And then, of course, the second time I do it, it's just like, no, not doing it. The AOG died for this. Well, wait and see, Captain Nathaniel, wait and see. Because I double-checked just to make sure that the provinces were indeed the descendant of the AOG, and they are. Italy got a slight rework as well. Oh, did it? Interesting. Those two little provinces... Oh yeah, of course they are. German East Asia. You're right. I was thinking they're blue. Why are they blue if they're German? Hi Dix, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Right, let's try that again. New game. 8 provinces. Select. Start. Going so fast it doesn't have any time to break. Here we go. What if Germany had won the First World War? Brought to you by the Kaiserreich team. All of these wonderful, wonderful people. Kaiserreich Beta 0.1. Blood on the Yangtze. And this... Huzzah! Is indeed the moving of Kaiserreich from Alpha to Beta. All the releases up to this point were Alpha releases. So Kaiserreich itself, as a grand project, has moved one step closer to full release, in whatever form that may take. The Kaiserreich team proudly presents Kaiserreich Beta version 0.1, Blood on the Yangtze, for Hearts of Iron 4. Our team has been working hard from every corner of the world to bring you this new version, and we couldn't be more honoured that you are choosing to play it. Please note the following. The mod is designed with the assumption the player will always annex all possible states and peace treaties, so make sure to do that. You can change the frequency of news events by toggling the icon. You can select the naming system, states and victory points by toggling the icon. Remember, this mod is still in a beta, so expect bugs, crashes and various headaches. If you encounter any of these, then please report them. Cool. I just shortened that a little bit. Fort Miner, thank you very much for the 14-month resubscription. Very much appreciate that. It's time for the mandate to heaven. Also, can I ask you a question? Yes. There you go, I answered. Alright, so, this is it, the League of the 8 Provinces. We can take a look at the state of the government, and also the state of the focus tree. More about that in a moment. You will notice that we are primarily the Nanjing clique right now, which are the paternal autocrats. However, if we hover over this lovely yellow colour, we can see that the party ideology, the market liberals, are the AOG. The Allgemeine Ostasiatische Gesellschaft are alive and well. It's just that they don't have the whole country. They're instead one of the interested parties within the country. And that's important because if we go down here towards the government by coercion, the Tsingtao collaboration, we have a bunch of things, which is basically our interactions with Germany. And the more that we do of this, the more popularity market liberalism gains. As you will see here, change in popularity, market liberalism. 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 It's just good business! So, yes, we can. AOG stuff. It's just taken a different form. Qi rules Nanjing. Can only be done if he has assumed control, and I'm guessing that this is to do with some kind of control stuff. Nanjing Army, building up the army, the air force, and... oh, this bit's interesting. Because it has a trait which I've never seen before. Every army leader adds 1 empty assignable trait slot. So this basically counts for 2 levels. You get an extra trait, which is ridiculously powerful. And you get that just from a focus, which sounds really, really cool. Plus, of course, the planning skill. More building slots, more market liberalism, and then recruitable population. We have the government by coercion, so this is the Tsingtao collaboration. Then down this side, we have the Sun investigation, which I'm sure is related to one of the events which will come along. We can't actually select any of these focuses just yet, with the exception of the Nanjing Army, so we will deal with those as and when they become available. And yes, this is a bigger tree than I initially thought. When I first clicked on it, I was like, okay, that's good, that's good. Oh, I can't scroll anymore. Like that's as far as I can scroll. It's just this bit. And then I went down, and it kept on going, and it kept on going, and it kept on going, and it kept on... oh, there we go. That's the end. Would I ever do a community game of a Hearts of Iron 4 Allies versus Axis type game, or not my thing? I've done a couple of those in the past, Fort Minor. I think Qing has a similar function to the market liberals. Yes, I think they do. If you take the right path with Qing, you can join the Reichspakt. And I'm fairly sure the League of Eight Provinces can. So, yeah, that is the starting situation for us. Someone also mentioned that the naval tech tree has changed slightly, so I'm curious about this. Oh, it has as well. That's been massively pared down. So we have destroyers and destroyer attack, we have cruisers and cruise attacks. Basic naval gunnery, so that's all the guns. Heavy ships. So these are the dreadnoughts. And then just one type of carrier. They don't have the light carriers and heavy carriers anymore. And then torpedoes and submarines. And then mining. And the various damage control systems. Okay. Is that for battle cruisers? Nope, that's super dreadnoughts. So battle cruisers are gone. I'm guessing that this is heavy cruisers. Yeah, light cruisers, heavy cruisers. And then these are the destroyers. So battle cruisers are gone. I think battleships are gone. Seeing as these are just dreadnoughts. Interesting. Or rather, they've rolled dreadnoughts and battleships into one class. I wonder if anything else has changed. Weapons seems to be the same. So used to Road to 56 now. I'm like, there's a lot less icons here. That's the same. That's the same. That's the same. Army doctrines seem to be the same. Ship designs have changed, as we saw. Those are the same. Air, same. Doctrines, same. Engineering, same. And then industry, all the same. So we're going to start out doing just the regular standard old opening, which is construction and technology, seeing as we've only got 2 research slots. Speaking of which, do we get any more? I don't actually remember seeing them. Unfortunately, we can't search this yet for research. Who got updated trees? All of the Chinese factions that I mentioned earlier. So Xinjiang, Markleek, Shaanxi, Qing, 8 provinces, Sichuan, Yunnan, legation cities, Shandong, Fentiang. Those are all new. I'm not actually sure who this is. Who's Kumul? This is new. They are a member of the Qing Empire. And they do have a focus tree, albeit an absolutely tiny one. Interesting, interesting. Mongolia, I think, got an overhaul. Although, I don't remember much of Mongolia previously, because I played it once years ago. Transummer... I think is largely the same. Japan has probably changed a little bit in relation to how they deal with people like Fentiang. Fentiang having previously been a puppet? I'm not sure that they still are. Non-aggression, military access, guaranteed. So no, Fentiang is not a puppet. I think they start as one in previous versions. And then German East Asia, I think, has also been overhauled slightly. Status of the Admiralty. Yeah, this is basically a navy with a state, which is why I really want to play as German East Asia at some point. Oh, Tibet's all got an overhaul. Interesting, interesting. Tibet's one nation I don't think I've even ever looked at before. In terms of focus trees, I don't think I've played as them. So Tibet do. And apparently Italy has had a bit of an overhaul. But I could not tell you at a glance just how much. Otherwise, I think everything else is much the same. I mean, a lot of the changes are going to be events and how things unfurl over time, so rather than worrying and wondering about that too much, I think I am instead going to just go ahead and start building stuff. Do they still have the system where you can't get resources? Yeah, unfortunately. Alright, so... We start out with the civilian economy, export focus, volunteer only. Oh, right, military staff. This has changed. You get far fewer. Head of government, foreign minister, economy minister, minister of the interior. Foreign minister is rolled in with spy master, gives you the decryption and stuff, I guess. Economy minister is going to be like research and construction upgrades. It's kind of like interior and economy. And then interior is a different one. So it's just a different version of the economy. Military staff. So currently we have Ji Hongjun, who is the mass combat, infantry attack, defense, and the recruitable population. We have Chief of Army, which is either Commando Doctrine or Decisive Battle. This member of the military staff is alive and ready to serve the government. That's not at all suspicious. At all, at all, at all. Can't change only ministers through events. Okay, that makes sense. Chief of the Navy, Open Seas, Screen Attack and Defense, Submarines, and then even more Special Forces. So you could actually double down with Commandos. That's an interesting idea. And Chief of the Air Force, Close Air Support. And then we have the designers. So the Schachtung Eisenbahn Gesellschaft. Light tanks, SP, artillery. Okay, all the light stuff is cheaper. Requires more than 25% support for the AOG. So you only get that if you're actually pandering to the Germans sufficiently. Much cheaper destroyers and submarines. Better cruisers. Better light bombers. Quite a lot better soft attack for infantry equipment, or quite a lot better artillery. Offensive artillery. Requires 40% support of the AOG to get that one. Oh, that's Krupp. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. And then industrial. Radar station construction, factory construction. Even higher factory construction. These two are the same. Okay. So, there you go. Those are those changes. Let's see what we want to build. Early on, I ordinarily do infrastructure, but with so much infrastructure to do in this country, I'm not really sure where to start. Jinling, maybe? It is definitely the province with the most potential building slots, although there are quite a few building slots throughout this country as a whole. Plus we have the wealthy, resource-rich south, although this is not vanilla. There's not nearly as many resources here. Let's go to like level 8. Start with that. Is there an industrial tree? I don't remember seeing an industrial tree. There's some infrastructure, +1. A whole bunch of decisions. We should also double check the decisions in a moment, actually. Let's do that. Continue the army reform, which gives more division attack and defense. Propaganda, send in the army. So that's political stuff, and then naval. Hire foreign naval designer. Gives you navy experience. Okay, that's kind of cool. Must have at least 6 ships to do that. How many ships do I have? None! No air force, but we do have quite the army. So let's just go ahead and grab you all together just so I can see what I'm playing with here. They seem to be pretty well equipped. We do have a surplus of equipment. Speaking of equipment, let's see what we can make. Ooh, new icons. Hanyang Type 88, basic infantry equipment. These are old. I quite like this setup though, that's pretty good. Definitely want some convoys. Let's build a bunch of convoys before we do anything else so we can actually do some buying and selling. China update. How many months have you been waiting for this? Many. think you have to have less than 6 ships to get it. Instantly cancelled if you have at least 6 ships. Okay, you're right. It just costs 20 political power to do it. 100% research bonus for a naval doctrine. And then this is dockyard output plus 50%. Up to 8 ships. So this basically allows you to get a kickstart in building up your fleet early on. Okay, that's good. Well, I guess we'll start on the Nanjing army. Our power derives from our military, which means it's vital to build a competent army. The armies of the former League were divided and weak. We must unify them and establish a strong Nanjing army with which we will achieve our goals. I'm also going to take a look at which generals are available. Substance abuser. Addiction can be a bad thing, but it's under control. Really. Career officer, politically connected. Sun Shufang is a... You have so many people who are substance abusers. It'll be fine. Sure, it's absolutely fine. Fast planner, substance abuser, cautious, old guard, politically connected. Okay. Check the Bhutan focus tree. I don't want to look too much at the different focus trees yet. That's something that we will get to, but yes, there is a Bhutan focus tree. Beginnings of industry. Ominously on its own. Interesting, interesting. And we also need a field marshal. Well, the field marshal I think is going to be obviously Chufang. Then I seem to remember... Oh, no, we have 1 cavalry, which will separate into another army. Do we have different types of infantry? Yeah, we have 1 or 2 different types of infantry. And judging by the lack of template deletion ability, we have at least a couple of each. Oh no, they're all the same. Oh no, they're not. But I can't edit them. I can only edit these, and we don't have any of those troops. Also ominous. I have a whole bunch of troops I can't edit. Okay. So I'm going to split 3 of you off into a new unit. And then we'll start assigning some generals. So our top general is probably Tang and Bo. Because he is not a substance abuser. And he is an infantry officer. Then our second best commander is probably going to be these 2, because these 2 are both substance abusers, so I don't really trust them. And this guy is old guard. So I think I'm going to give you that one. And you that one. Although I had realised that this is cavalry. Do we have anyone who is a specialist with cavalry? Are they all infantry? They all seem to be infantry. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is this. Just merge those together. Yeah, I'm guessing it's that poet, but no spoilers. Let me just find stuff out as it happens. Why so worried about the substance abusers? They've got this under control, really? Does substance abuser do anything? Nah, I'm sure it's fine. No problem. Let's go speed 4. And I'm going to pour myself some tea. Can't be playing as the Chinese AOG without tea. It's just not right. Substance abuse. Now we can unpause. See what happens. The Imperial Cornerstone. Forged amid the last decade's wars and expanded to its current size following the defeat of the Northern Expedition, Sun Chongfang's League is a loose confederation of provincial governments orientated around his stronghold in Nanjing. Though united by its members' fear of central government control, the League is nonetheless a cornerstone of the Empire, buttressing Beijing against both external threats and internal challenges by virtue of shared heritage. This tenuous agreement has brought years of peace, and with them relative prosperity. Foreign industrial methods are proven transformational, and Shun's armies now include several German-trained and equipped divisions at their core. The League Marshal has come to sit at the top of a vast bureaucratic pyramid, a position he is more than happy to keep, despite the cracks that have begun to appear at its base. German material aid, necessary to offset pressure from Beijing and the League's fractious southern members, has not served as a source of strength alone. German money trickles into every level of the League's hierarchy, feeding an already ingrained and unhealthy taste for corruption, with officials complicit in everything from embezzlement to the stolen antiquities trade. This has gradually stoked the fires of popular discontent, increasingly harnessed by nationalistic agitators and fueled by the elusive remnants of the Kuomintang. For all of Sun's efforts to draw the fragmented League together, it may be drifting all the further apart. Still, these domestic squabbles are outshone by the rising sun, which looms large to the east. Beset by internal conflicts, the League must rise to this challenge, or else risk annihilation. Briefings are available in the League's special mechanics, its relationship with the Germans, and the internal politics. Yeah, please do tell me about this stuff, because this is all new. Together with his old mentor, Wu Feifu, Sun Xiongfang stopped the Kuomintang's northern expedition in its tracks and reversed the Fentiang advance into the northern plain. Together, they came to control all of China proper, but the peace that followed soon brought a new dilemma. Would Sun continue to bow to his old master to the north, and would Wu permit his old protege to disregard his authority? The years since have seen both Wu's Beijing government and Sun's League hold on to an awkward status quo, guaranteed by their shared enemies to the north and to the east, the Fentiang government and Japan. Sun is free to do as he likes with the League, so long as he holds to ceremony and maintains the appearance of a unified country. Whether this can last remains to be seen. Brief me on the Germans. They come from a country far to the west. They call themselves Germany. Germany's significant role in the 1927 destruction of the Northern Expedition left Berlin with a great deal of leverage in China, tempered only slightly by the 1928 International Shanghai Conference, which claimed to give all nations equal access to the Chinese market. In order to ensure a favourable position in spite of these restrictions, German officials proposed a series of agreements with the League Marshal Sun Xiongfang and our constituent governors. By sidestepping both international agreements and Beijing's authority, German strength helps to hold the League together and maintain autonomy from Wu Feifu's northern Zili, in exchange for an ever-increasing spread of German influence. This arrangement has gradually lost its luster, as German control grows and people watch the fruits of their labour line the pockets of the generals and foreigners alike. Many have come to question its necessity. The nature of the League's relationship with Germany may need to be reconsidered going forwards. And what about these internal concerns? German influence and the somewhat decentralised nature of the League has often led to localised unrest. And though this is often quickly dealt with, it may be seen as indicative of greater malaise. The League is pestered by numerous subversive forces, and though they may be seen as no threat, they must not be allowed to escape control. A number of Kuomintang holdouts, remnants of the failed Northern Expedition in 1926, and a smaller uprising in 1932 remain just outside our reach in the mountains of Fujian, and the major coastal concessions. Yinghuandao adherents committed to expunging foreign influence and returning China to its long-held traditions have been moving south from Shandong and making inroads along the eastern provinces. To the south, Guangdong and Guangxi, together referred as the Liangwang as well as Hunan, operate de facto autonomously and may even harbour ambitions of formal independence. All will need to be watched closely.